That it's truly the only plugged-in internet television production company on the market. AMP2.tv live streams all their shows across all the major selling markets in the U.S. and abroad. Call them at 866-224-5422. The AmpSquare.tv library allows productions to be seen over and over again, making commercial platforms more usable. Call 866-224-5422. Toll free 866-224-5422. AMP2.tv, the first and only internet television network that's truly plugged in. 866-224-5422. That's AMP, the number 2.tv.
Talk here, talk there. Talk 1470 AM and 95.3 FM, the Health and Wealth Radio Network. WNN.
Hello, and welcome. I am so excited to be here with an amazing person for you. I hope you are ready, because if you are ready to be motivated, to be inspired, and to really get excited about life and where you're going, I'm going to tell you, you are in the right place. We have the one and only. I call her my Wonder Woman. Yes, she is. From the moment I met her, I knew she was a Wonder Woman. Her name is Scarlett Butler, and we are so excited to have her as our guest here at Zero to Shiro. Now, of course, before we get started, we need to take care of some housekeeping. And of course, I want to say welcome, and hello to all of our Facebook friends. We have some Facebook friends out there. Also, I want to say hello to Periscope and Facebook and YouTube. Hello, YouTube. How are you? We are here in the beautiful Boca Raton, Florida, where we are going to be interviewing an amazing female powerhouse. But if you are watching via social media, I want you to take this moment and I want you to share this out. In fact, I'm doing it right now. That's why I'm looking on the phone right here. We are going to share this out so that we make sure that this message gets out to the maximum number of audience members. You guys know that if you are not on social media, if you are not sharing a message, then you're not caring. You know, I say that all the time. Sharing is caring. So take this moment, give us a like, give us a heart, and be sure that you share this out, because maybe this message is going to inspire someone. Now, the reason we started this show, the reason we call it Zero to Shiro, is because the reality is, no matter how fabulously you look, she looks fabulous, I look fabulous, no matter who you are, you always have at some point in your life that zero moment. That moment where you're like, I'm not getting out of bed, I'm not doing it today. But we are here to let you know that that is only a plot twist, and your zero moment can be turned into your Shiro moment. So I want to thank you for joining us. And for those of you who don't know me personally, I want to say hello. I am Ann Charlius. I am the founder of Shiro Rising, and I help entrepreneurs take their businesses to the next level. So if you're interested in connecting with me to really help your business grow and prosper, you can reach me in multiple ways. I am on social media, all social media at Shiro Rising. You can go to shirorising.org. That's shirorising.org. Or you can text the word Shiro. That's SHERO to the number 77948. That's 77948, and that will connect you directly into my calendar, where we can connect and see what we can do to help your business thrive and grow. So now that we've taken care of that housekeeping, let's get to our Shiro. Welcome, Scarlett. How are you?
I'm very good, Ann. Thank you so much for inviting me today. It's such a pleasure and such an honor to hopefully pass on a message that motivate someone to continue to go on, move on, even if it's not your hero moment
Yes.
right now,
Yes.
you'll always be Shiro.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. We're going to take that and let me introduce you guys to Scarlett. She is stunning, but I'm going to tell you, she is beauty and brains. She has multiple bachelor's degrees. She has an MBA, so she's smart. But I call her my Wonder Woman, you guys, because she is actually currently a retired Miami-Dade County firefighter. She was in the first cohort of female female firefighters for Miami-Dade County. So guess what? She is a trailblazer even in a male-dominated profession. So when I say she's a Wonder Woman, she is tried, true, and tested as Wonder Woman.
Yes.
So I just wanted to give them that quick introduction. And now that she's retired, she does online teaching as a online professor. In addition to that, she is also an entrepreneur helping entrepreneurs like yourself work from home. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But let's share a little bit more about you. So tell us about yourself, something that maybe I left out, or maybe you want to say hello to your amazing children and your family.
Definitely. I want to say hi to this, especially to my son and my daughter, as well as my grandchildren, my motivation, my inspiration, and the people that always inspire me to get up to do more, be more, and show them that anything's possible.
Anything
Anything
is possible.
Nothing, there's no limitations in anything in this world that no one can tell you no.
Absolutely, absolutely. And tell us a little bit more, just in general terms, about your business. Now that you're retired from the fire department, tell us a little bit more about the business.
My business is E3 Enterprise and Associates. It is an acronym for Educational Empowerment and Entrepreneurship. I've been that individual. Even though I was in a secure job with a pension, great benefits, I only worked 92 days a year. On those days that I was off, I still was in the private sector working with CEOs and other individuals because the flexibility, that was one of the perks of being in that profession. Even though it was a non-traditional profession, on my days off, I still liked my heels and my stockings. I loved the femininity that I had. I've always loved who I am, where I am, and what I look like. So that was one of the things that inspired me, but also I had to remind myself I was in a non-traditional profession that at any point in time, one bad call could end my career. And what was I going to have to, what was I going to fall back on? How was I going to be able to provide for me and my family at that time? So I am a life learner. Yes, I have two undergraduate degrees, public administration, organizational leadership. I have my MBA in professional management as well. And now I'm working and finishing up on online adult teaching. Throughout all of that, it's incorporated into the entrepreneurship, giving back.
Absolutely.
When you're able to give back especially in various sectors, and my sector and the platform that I'm really targeting in is making sure and having people understand to be self-reliant, be able to understand that you can work from home and make significant amount of money and have that flexibility to give back to your family, to have that quality time with your children.
Absolutely.
To the personal endeavors that you put on the side because the commitment of being a mother, of being a breadwinner, of being the head of the household. Now you have that flexibility of providing that as well as having a substantial income. So that's my company.
Absolutely. I love that. It's all about freedom to control your time
Absolutely.
and your day and the type of work that you're doing and your income. We love some income, right?
Income is very good.
Absolutely. Now, tell us about a zero moment. We know that you are a retired firefighter. You're an amazing mother, grandmother. You're this amazing woman, but has even Wonder Woman herself had a zero moment?
I've had several zero moments. I've had those zero moments that when I've had to actually face my zero moment when it came to my immediate family. It's easier. It's easy for you to go out there to perform your job, to go into homes and understand that you're there to provide the best quality service possible for the community. But when it hits home and you have to face those demons or have to still have that strength to go on, to carry on, and make sure that you're keeping your family together with that glue, that's a zero moment for you. That's a moment that I've endured it several times. And throughout all that, through my faith, it enabled me to continue to provide services even when I went back to work and I still had to provide for my family. Those are zero moments. But you don't think about it while you're in those trenches. You're only doing what you know best to do.
You're laser beam focused because you know you have a task.
And that task it will only be completed if you literally have to step outside of your box and know it still has to be done. And in the same capacity, your family is still looking to you for strength.
You know, it's interesting. Oftentimes, especially we as women, we are faced with having to deal with the balancing act.
Yes.
Balancing doing well in the workplace so that we can bring home the bacon, to helping the kids with their homework and taking care of them, and doing all of this while still looking cute, right? We got to do all of that and still look cute at the end of the day.
Still look cute. Still have to be able to provide, to make sure that you're that loving, doting individual that if the significant other wants you to be. When they realize that you're not wearing one or two hats, you're wearing 10 or 11.
Absolutely.
10 or 11. And it takes that special person to understand, especially when you're working or you're involved with someone in a non-traditional profession. That's any first responders. That's from firefighter, police, corrections, anyone that's a first responder. It is hard when it comes to relationships. If that person is not secure with themselves, the relationship will not last.
Absolutely. It won't last. And there is a certain level of confidence that you need to have.
Yes.
Listen, men,
Yes.
attention all the men out there.
Yes.
A lot of you say we want someone like Beyonce who's handling their business and their empire. But that comes with responsibility.
Yes,
it
it does.
absolutely does.
They really do.
Give us some life lessons that you've learned, whether it's through motherhood, whether it's through your career in the fire service or as an entrepreneur. What are some life lessons you've gained along the way?
One of the biggest life lessons I learned is when I decided to make that transition to go into the fire service. There was a life lesson that really literally slapped me in the face because somebody told me, oh no, this is not for you. A black female going in a non-traditional profession, it's not for you. This is not for you.
Wait, Scarlett. Someone looked at you and
Yeah.
said, the fire service is not for you.
It's not for me. It's not for me. I went through 6 months training prior to me taking the test for just to get into minimum standards, not to be hired, just to be considered with the certification. And the first 6 months, I failed tremendously. So the director at that time of the fire academy is like, oh yeah, real sorry, you might want to consider another profession or whatever. I looked at him like, gotcha.
Wow.
Gotcha. I knew I had 6 months to come back. I went from running 3 miles a day to 6 miles a day. My whole schedule changed. I prepared all my meals on Sunday. I did everything I had to do so there was no interruptions. At that time, my son was only like 4 years old. I stayed in an 18-story high-rise. I ran 6 miles a day. I put my son on my back, and I ran the high-rise like 4 times just to start off with.
Wow.
So I say that to say, shame on him first time. If I had failed it the second time, that was shame on me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't accept no. No is not a good word. I really accept too good.
And I love
just
that.
don't.
And I think that's a great life lesson. just because someone says something is so
Absolutely.
does not mean it needs to be the story that you take on. It does not mean that that needs to be what you believe
And where you stop.
and where you stop. Because if you think about all the greats that we know, they all had people telling them no. But they kept on moving. They kept on pushing. And I love what you stated. You didn't just say, well, I'm going to do it again in 6 months. Because I hate people just say, oh, I'm going to do it again, but then they don't do anything to make this time different. And that's another thing that I learned from your story is that you said you were going to do it again, but you said, you know what, I'm going to switch this up. I'm going to get ready. I'm going to get booted and suited to make sure that this is a success. And, you know, you shared with me in the green room the fact that when you showed up, that they actually put you in a room that was cold and basically setting you up for the failure. And so the next time around, what did you do?
I was in a coat. I had already ate my carbs the night before. I knew, I already knew that it was going to be the same scenario. But the outcome, they didn't think it was going to happen the way it did. You had to do a series of 9 events within a certain duration of time. I was number 3 when I actually had to perform the series of events. I completed all the events in half of the time. So there was no discrepancy in regards to whether I passed or not.
By the way, Scarlett, Pamela Moore is in the house. Hello, Pamela. And Pamela is a friend, a colleague.
She's my besties.
Oh, hey, Pamela, girl.
She's one of my besties.
And Pamela, don't forget to share this out because sharing is caring. And you know Scarlett's story, and you know how powerful it is. So definitely share it out so that more women and even men, hey, you can learn a lot from Scarlett too. Get inspired, get empowered so that they can go from zero to hero. And if you are listening via Facebook, Periscope, definitely heart us up, give us that thumbs up, and comment so we can give you a shout out on the radio. Hello. So,
all right.
So you showed up in Miami-Dade with a coat on. That is what I'm talking about.
Yes, because in actuality, a non-traditional, quote unquote, Anglo-Saxon position. It wasn't a lot of black males at that time either.
Wow.
It was literally for the good old boy club.
Right. And it just goes to show you just can't, if you are ready to persevere, it's kind of hard for someone to keep you out of the loop.
Absolutely. And for me, I went from the private sector into the public sector. And most people, they don't understand it's 10 times harder in the private sector as opposed to the public sector.
Right.
A lot of the laws that was written, EEOC and affirmative action and everything, it applies to the public sector as to the private sector.
That is correct.
You have that glass ceiling that a lot of individuals are still fighting to break.
Absolutely.
In the private sector.
Absolutely.
So I did have that as an advantage because the way the municipality ran.
Right.
So I adhered to the policies and procedures. So you always, and it still goes back to learning, education, knowledge. Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power, and you got to implement it.
You have to.
What business lessons have you learned along the way? What are 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 lessons that you can give our audience as it pertains to business?
One of the biggest things about business is, I don't care how big it is or how small it is, you have to have a passion for it. If you don't have that passion, if you don't feel it in your gut, and if you don't feel this is something that you foresee yourself doing 10 years from now and still enjoying it, and still enjoying that as a business or as a profession, don't do it.
Absolutely. Listen,
Don't do it.
if you want profits, you need to make sure you have the other P, and that's passion. You have to have passion for it.
You do.
And now I know another thing that you are really good about is documentation. And,
yes.
I have a saying, documentation beats conversation.
Yes, at any time. At any time. And that, and again, when it comes to working in the capacity of of the public sector,
Mm-hmm.
transparency and accountability is one of the biggest things that weighs more than anything.
Absolutely.
And making sure when you're doing your documenting, if in essence you're being harassed, if in essence you feel that you're being treated unfairly, if in essence you feel that there's favoritism or nepotism in the system, and you're showing that that other person is on that other person's side more than you, and it's unfairly, you can't do anything verbally. Dates, time, and place, that goes a long way.
Dates, time, and place. Check. Did you guys get that? Let me say it one more time. Dates, times, and place.
Yes.
I absolutely agree with that. Have you ever experienced fear before? And if so, what is it? What is fear for you, and how can someone overcome it?
For me, I can't say I've ever experienced fear only because of my spiritual being. For me, I've always considered myself spiritually inclined.
Right.
I can't fear the unknown. I can only ask God to be my shield and buckle and stand up and be the warrior for me. And I release everything else. It's in his hands. Now, most individuals will allow the unknown to be their fear. But why are you allowing that to be your? Why are you letting that to be your fear? And it may never exist. It may never come to existence. So why fear it?
Absolutely. So often, I agree with you, Scarlett. We find people who are so focused on what might happen. The ifs, and ifs. But guess what? It may not happen.
And you're walking through your life, or you're going through life with blinders on. You're living literally in these so-called bunkers, or the end of the world, catastrophe or whatever.
Absolutely.
You can't live your life that. You're not living.
You're not living.
You're not living. To live is to explore, to try different things, whether you're successful or you fail at it, but you still tried it.
Absolutely. It's interesting. Fear is a very powerful motivator, but it also can be chains that hold people from achieving their greatness.
Absolutely.
And the message you just gave was very powerful. Tell us about how we can connect with you. The audience is listening to us on the radio at 95.3 FM and 1470 AM. For the audience that's on Periscope and Facebook and YouTube, if they want to connect with you and your business and learn more, how do they connect and reach to you?
Well, right now I do have my own website, www.numerical3 enterpriseassociate.com.
Wonderful.
So
one more time for the audience.
Once again, www.e3enterpriseassociate.com.
Wonderful. So you can connect with her in that way, especially if you're a person who is looking for work at home opportunities, whether you are a woman or a man.
Male or female.
It's
a great opportunity, especially for students or the retiree. That's trying to supplement their income.
And listen, this is the holiday season.
Yes.
So if you're looking for that side hustle, as they call it, to make some
extra money,
extra income,
or get ready for the upcoming year.
Exactly, the new year.
It's the new year.
For most
part of
of
your
us,
resolution should be part of your changes financially.
Absolutely. And I say that to people all the time, that oftentimes that's one of the probably top 3 resolutions that people have. But those seeds are planted now.
Yes.
So definitely reach out and connect with her. Now, what are your hopes and aspirations for this coming year as it pertains to just life in general? Is there anything on your bucket list now that you're retired?
Oh, God.
Tell us, because I can't wait to be that retired woman who's still looking fabulous, okay?
One of the things that's on my bucket list this year as an entrepreneur, I'm looking to assist this sector that has been incarcerated, and now they're being released, but the recidivism rate is so high because they don't even have any training. There's no avenues. There's no starting point nor ending point, and before you know it, they're back in the system.
Back in the system. You're absolutely
So
right.
that is that's one of my bucket list items, as well as individuals that's been displaced, or perhaps for whatever reason they've failed and they don't know how to get back up.
Absolutely.
I've been very blessed throughout my life that I feel it is my duty to give back, and in whatever capacity I can give back, it is my duty within me to be able to help other individuals, how small it is or how large it is.
I totally agree. For the new year, I made a resolution that every time I got a new client, something positive happened in my business, that I would give something away, whether it's a free coaching session, whether it's a free training online. And I will tell you this, that attitude of gratitude, it definitely creates a shift in you where you do become more joyous.
Yes.
And 'cause especially when you see someone being impacted in such a powerful way.
Right.
And so I'm so excited that there are people like you, real community leaders, who want to be a voice for the voiceless. Because, there's a lot of people out there who are saying, well, I don't want to help those people. They've ruined their lives. It's their fault, but they're still people.
And I'll say to that statement is that you can't say anybody else's story because you haven't walked in their shoes. You don't know what brought them to that point.
Let me do a little Shiro rise and dance.
You can't say that.
For those
You
listening
can only
on radio,
you can't
I'm
do
doing
that, and
a
you
little
should not
Shiro
do that.
rising dance, because that's absolutely true. Do not judge from your
Absolutely.
high white tower where nothing bad has ever happened, so it's pure white and it's glass and
Yes.
chandelier, but you've never experienced what people have had to experience.
Walk in their shoes
And
and,
walk in
and
their
not
shoes.
really sure how they got there, but they need someone's assistance to get them back just on track. And sometimes just the a small sentence or a phrase, or did you eat today, or how's your day going,
Absolutely.
or just sit and listen. Sometimes that stops that individual perhaps from doing bodily harm to themselves or someone else.
You never know. And it's interesting you say that, because this month is anti-bullying month.
Yeah, it is.
And your words do have power. I do not believe that words, growing up, what was the saying? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
Oh,
Now,
they hurt.
They hurt.
They
Sometimes
hurt.
they're worse.
They hurt. They hurt.
There are some words that if you use it to me, I would rather you have slapped me.
Yes,
I would rather
I
you have
agree.
slapped. So absolutely. So really getting out of your own way. That's the vision for the new year. I love that.
Yeah.
And also being in a position, in a place to give back, even for those who are voiceless, because really those types of individuals, those who are displaced, those who are trying to start a new life, they really are voiceless. No one really is listening to them with an empathetic, compassionate ear. And what I love about you is I know that you're going to give them hardcore skills that they can actually apply.
That's
And
it.
that is so important. And look at that. You hear the music?
Oh my goodness.
Our time has
Wow.
flown by.
Oh my goodness.
Isn't it quick?
Wow.
When you are having a great time and learning and growing together in community, the time does go by. And I want to thank you, Scarlett, for
Thank you
coming.
so much for
thank
inviting
you,
me.
audience. You guys know this is Zero to Shiro. We are here every Monday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, bringing you a female entrepreneur powerhouse that's here to motivate you, to inspire you, and to transform you. Listen, it is only October. Many of the things on your New Year's resolution list can still be achieved. Let's dig in our heels. Let's connect together. If you would like to reach me, it would be my honor to connect with you. You can text the word Shiro.
1470 is WWNN Pompano Beach and 95.3 FM W237BD Boca Raton, the Health and Wealth Radio Network. Talk 1470 and 95.3 FM, the Health and Wealth Radio Network. Get involved with Community Connections with Norma G.